Good Tuesday morning. Welcome everyone to the channel, Headlocks and Hauntings. Welcome to the podcast, Wrestling with ADHD. I am your host, Triple S, the Center Shooter Storm. And what I want to do is just give you guys a very quick recap on this past Saturday night's AEW All Out pay-per-view. There has been mixed reactions. Some people happy, some people angry, and then there's some people in the middle. But just like every other single time we hear about a wrestling pay-per-view happening, a wrestling event happening, a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, a Friday night, a Thursday night sprinkled in, we always can never just satisfy every single person. And that's okay because everybody is entitled to their opinion. I am going to start out by giving my opinion on the thing that most people are pissed off about, and that is the ridiculous bump that Matt Hardy took against Sammy Guevara. They were up on a forklift, no Judy Bagwell in sight. They were up there. Matt hooked for a twist of fate. It was reversed, and Sammy Guevara speared Matt. Matt ended up overshooting the table down below and smacking the back of his head. It was a scary, scary situation. Now, here's where the gray area comes in. The match was stopped, and then it was started back up just to go to the finish. Now, the reason they did it this way is because if Matt Hardy were to lose, he would have to leave AEW. So, when he hit his head, he was out. 45 seconds out cold. Guevara was trying to pick him up, and Matt's legs were just dragging behind him. And it was a scary situation to look at. Now, Tony Khan did have them ring the bell. It was supposed to be the end. Then, all of a sudden, you see Guevara coming out. Then you see Matt is going towards him. They ended up going on top of the scaffold, where Guevara took this sickening bump off of it, went all the way down. He ended up losing to Matt, so Matt is able to stay with All Elite Wrestling. Now, here again is where the gray area comes into play. There's people at home saying, oh, Tony Khan did the wrong thing. Tony Khan did not do what was right. Let me explain to people out there that have zero clue what goes on in somebody's mind when this happens. I run events. Stuff happens. Injuries happen. Okay? Things go on. Should he have stopped the match completely and continued to have it stopped? Or did he do the right thing? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody can start throwing shit at Tony Khan because you do not know if it is the right thing or not the right thing. At the end of the day, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. The person sitting next to you most likely is not a doctor. The only person in that building that knew what was going on was the doctor. He cleared Matt. Matt didn't bully anybody into continuing the match. The doctor said he's good to go. He passed the protocol. That should be it. It was done. It doesn't make Tony Khan a bad person. It doesn't make anybody at AEW responsible for this. Matt overshot the table. This is pro wrestling. Injuries happen. Matt got up. Matt's not mad. The point is, Matt Hardy is the guy that took the bump. I guarantee you, Matt Hardy wanted to continue, but he did not bully anyone into continuing because you can't bully a doctor like that into continuing. You know why? Because Tony Khan does care about his wrestlers. He cares about his company, and he cares more about Matt than anybody out there that's talking shit even knows. So getting that out of the way, Matt will be back Wednesday night. I read a tweet last night from Tony Khan saying he will be there to address the fans. So when Matt goes out there and addresses the fans, he will be the one to tell you exactly what went on and how it went down. And I promise you, Matt doesn't blame Tony Khan or anyone else at AEW, or Matt wouldn't show up Wednesday night at AEW to tell people what happened. That being said, that's boom. Nobody out there can make that judgment call except for the people that were there to make that judgment call. And the doctor was the guy that was able to make that judgment call. take it from me who understands running wrestling events, being a pro wrestler, doing all of this. I have no idea how I would react, just like you don't know. So people out there calling him, oh, he's nothing but a money mark, this, that, and the other thing. You guys sound stupid. Just shut the fuck up. For real, just shut the fuck up. Now, as far as the rest of the pay-per-view went, just like most all AEW events, the show was off the charts. That main event was a wrestling match for the ages. MJF being the wrestler. Then you have Jon Moxley, who's the brawler. They told that story perfect. What an amazing match. Just the way they put it together, that finish was able to set up for a Wardlow MJF feud, which is going to make another star out of Wardlow because MJF has already been made a star. Excuse me. Then you had the Battle Royal was won by Lance Archer. And now it's now it's Lance Archer going for the championship against Jon Moxley. They're taking their Japanese feud and they're bringing it to American television. And I can't wait to see those two hosses beat the crap out of each other for that belt. So right there, you set up two feuds. Just during that main event, you set up two feuds going forward. And we're going to start off to the races this Wednesday. The show started off in a match that took place in a dentist office. Because if you don't know, Britt Baker is a dentist. Between her, Big Swole, and Rebel, the three of them, for what they were given in this one, for the fact that Britt Baker is still not 100%, I would assume that's why they did it this way and didn't do it in ring. I thought it was fun. It was fun. But, of course, you got people bitching. Oh, my God, why did I pay for that? I don't know. You did pay for it. I'm sorry. Were the other 6, 7, 8 matches not good enough for you that you have to bitch about this one? And it's the first one? Stop it. Then we go on to the opening in-ring match. We got the Young Bucks against Jurassic Express. Just so good. Even with Marco Stunt on the outside, he even had a place in that. Being the little guy, just pushing the buttons. Finally getting his crutch kicked away. Super kick. Boom. He's out, right? That made everybody happy. That's like what I used to do. I used to be that little shithead on events all over the place with my faction. And I'd be that dickhead that would take that, boom, that one big move where the people would go crazy. That was over. That match was over. Jurassic Express were able to hang with the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks are the most athletic and probably the best tag team in the last 15 years. And that's a true statement. Then we had the 8-man tag team match. You had the Dark Order, headed by TNT champion Brody Lee, and they went against the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes, QT Marshall, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder in the WWE. Really good 8-man tag team match. A match you'd see main event like a Dynamite, but it was placed perfect on the show. Excellent stuff. Ended up with a roll-up for the finish with Dustin, setting up for Wednesday's Dynamite, where we're going to see Dustin get a shot at the TNT Championship against Brody Lee. But also in that same match, it looks like we're going to set up Colt Cabana, a feud with Colt Cabana and Mr. Brody Lee. So once again, AEW delivers on setting up going forward into Full Gear in November. We had the big Battle Royal, like I said, where it was won, the Casino Battle Royal. It was won by Lance Archer. We got to see Matt Sydal debut. Unfortunately, he took a bad spill off the top rope when he was going for his 450 or whatever it is that he does off the top rope. And, you know, it happens. It's wrestling. It's Jacksonville. It's muggy. The humidity's crazy. The ropes were sweating. He slipped. No big deal. He still put on a hell of a show out there. Made it to the final 3. Eddie Kingston, awesome as always. He was also in the final 3. So kudos to everybody involved with that. We call this podcast Wrestling with ADHD. That match surely had ADHD. And to you, Darby Allin, holy shit. I respect you. I have zero idea why or how you were able to protect yourself inside of a body bag full of thumbtacks, but you did it. Then we had the Mimosa Mayhem match, first time ever. My favorite, Chris Jericho, a guy that invents things, reinvents himself, invents new matches. Him and Orange Cassidy for the third time. That finish, you got Jericho on the second rope. He's teetering after the first Superman punch. Second Superman punch. There goes Jericho into the Mimosa. So good. It was a match of don't fall in, don't do that. It was just very well put together. Kudos to you guys. You can always say you were in the very first Mimosa Mayhem match, and you absolutely made something of a match that a lot of people didn't know if anything was going to be made of it, correct? Then we had Thunder Rosa, the NWA Women's Champion, against Shida, who's the AEW Women's Champion. And I will say that this match right here was in the top 3 best women's wrestling matches since AEW started. I don't know if Thunder Rosa is going to sign with AEW. She is in a relationship with Eddie Kingston, who just signed. However, even if she doesn't sign, hopefully AEW still use Thunder Rosa until NWA is up and running again after this bullshit pandemic. So yeah, guys, this was an absolute all-out excellent pay-per-view. That tag team championship match with Hangman Adam Page sporting brand new gear with his tag team partner Kenny Omega. They've held the tag titles for quite some time, and they ended up finally losing their belts to FTR. FTR, their first shot at the titles. They took the belts. They have Tully in their corner. That match was Pro Wrestling 101. It was like watching wrestling in the late 80s, watching the old Crockett Promotions, NWA, the early days of WCW, and it was so good. It was a long match, and it was a long, well-told story. So yeah, at the end of the day, I might have missed something here and there during this quick podcast, but I want to let every single person out there know that AEW has done everything that they said they were going to do when they started way back when, January of last year, January 2019. AEW said they were going to take the wrestling world by storm, and they were going to do it every single week, every single pay-per-view, and they have done that. So all you haters, anybody out there that wants to bitch, complain, moan, listen, have you watched Mondays? Have you watched Fridays? There's something to bitch and complain about. I'm not just an AEW guy. I'm not against the WWE. No, I am a professional wrestling guy. I am a 19-year professional wrestler, and I'm a 35-year-old professional wrestling fan. And at the end of the day, when all the smoke settles, all the dust is cleared, All Elite Wrestling, All Out, this past Saturday, did what it said it was going to do, and it put on a show for the ages. So, remember, until next time, make sure to follow your dreams.